Hey friend, it is Kate here. Thank you so much for jumping on my channel and joining me for a class today. Now I have got a lovely relaxing yoga class just for you. This class in particular is wonderful for those of us that have maybe had a really long day, we're feeling a little tense, maybe we've got a lot running through our mind and we know we might have trouble sleeping tonight. A soft, gentle stretch class like this is a perfect way to wind down, to give yourself a little bit of self-care, and, end your day with a lot of self-love. So I certainly hope you enjoy class, and let me know if it helps you calm down tonight. Roll out your mat, and let's get started. We'll start in a seated position. Whatever feels best for you is totally fine. But go ahead and take a moment to arrive on your mat. Pull your low belly in, draw the ribs together, lift out of the waist a little bit more. Close your eyes. Take a moment to notice how our body is feeling right now. Does it feel like you are craving a particular sort of movement? Do you already want to explore? Maybe you want to move the head or neck around even with your eyes closed. No right or wrong, just taking that time to kind of notice what's going on. But eventually do sit a little taller. Take a big inhale through the nose. Easy sigh out the mouth. Again, full big breath in. Let it go. One more time. Seal the lips together, begin breathing through the nose. Eyes can stay closed or you can blink them open when you're ready. But very purposefully slide your shoulders as high as you can up to your ears. And then I want you to circle them back behind you all the way down. Again, circle them straight up and roll them back and down. Two more, straight up. Right back down, last one up, right back down, and then reverse. So you're going to go up and then forward and around, up and then forward and around. Just finding that mobility in our shoulders. Last one, up and down. And from here, I just want you to take your right hand out in front of you, reach it up and over. Now I want you to keep your chest and your gaze forward. So if that means your circle doesn't go as big as maybe you think it can, because like if we move our body, we can move that hand back behind us, but that's not really the point. We're just waking up our upper body, kind of circling the hand as far away from us as we can while keeping our chest forward. Go the opposite direction, up and over. And not only am I trying to take my hand as far back as I can, but I lift it up as high as I can too. Just finding the range of motion that's in my body right now. Last one. Hand down, same thing other side. So go ahead, reach it out and around. And I've got plants behind me. I might kick or kind of hit them a few times, we shall see. But the goal is to keep your chest facing forward, your gaze as well, and just moving in the shoulder. Last one in that direction, and then we go back up and overhead and around, up and overhead and around. Two more, up, let it go. Last one, up, let it go. Now this time take your hands wide and up and catch something high above your head. Maybe look up to the sky. As you exhale, just let your hands fall back down. Again, inhale, sweep the hands out and away. Lift them up overhead, stretch. Exhale, let it go. One more time, big inhale, catching something up over the head. Let it go. Take a pause, sit tall, sit straight, and dip your chin to your chest. Just give yourself that double chin. Think about lifting the back of your head up. And then from here, begin to let each and every little vertebra forward fold as well, coming as deep as you want to into a seated forward fold. You might even bring your hands in front of you and really let the head dangle. You can shake it yes and no, right and left. Pause, center, belly button in, slowly straighten the arms, and then roll yourself all the way back up. Again, chin to chest, one vertebra at a time down. Roll into your deepest forward fold as possible. Again, maybe letting the forearms come to the mat. Nod the head a little. And then belly button in, restack the spine, roll yourself up. One more time, chin to chest. Nod, little wiggle. And roll yourself all the way up. From here, go ahead and look over your right shoulder and then follow your gaze to take your twist back behind you as deep as you want to go. Let it go. Look over your left shoulder and then take that twist as deep as you want to go. Release. Sit tall, sit straight, take a big breath, and relax. Go ahead and find a tabletop. If it's too much to be on our hands and our knees today, that's okay, no big deal. But do pause here for a moment if we can, and then start to cat and cow at your own pace. This can be fast or slow. It can be a traditional cat and cow like I'm doing right now, or you could start to circle the head and the tail, or even just look over one shoulder back towards your hip, but just enjoying the movement in your body. And eventually from here, I want you to touch your toes together, open your knees a little wider, and push your hips back. Find a gentle child's pose. Crawl the hands far away, let the head meet the mat, relax the neck. Close your eyes. Let yourself settle onto the mat. Can you relieve any tension in your shoulders, in your chest, in your face? Can you give your body permission just to enjoy this pose? Knowing, of course, if child's pose is not your favorite, if there's something else that could be just as relaxing, maybe just sitting in a seat, that would be perfectly fine too. And then from here, can we crawl our hands over to the right side of the mat? Left hand on top of right. Think about pressing your left hip, your left sitting bone, closer to the mat, closer to your left heel, and almost fanning open your left ribs. And then crawling your hands to the other side. And same thing. My right hip, my right sitting bone is reaching for the floor. I'm opening up the right side body. Still relaxing the face, the neck, but thinking about opening up my lateral body. Come on back center when you feel ready. And maybe from here you clasp your hands together and bend your elbows, bringing the fists towards the nape of your neck. For me, I lightly press down into my elbows. I press my heart closer to the mat. And I get a little stretch almost underneath my shoulders, across my chest a little. This can be as active or passive as you like. No hurry, no rush. Unravel when you're ready. Open your hands a little wider. Rise back to your hands and your knees and point your knees back in the proper alignment with our hands, and I want us to come to a very gentle downward facing dog. Now remember, if downward facing dog is just not a pose for you, you could do an L stretch or a wall downward dog at the wall. And all I want us to do is really let the head hang heavy here. Sometimes I do keep it in line with my arms, and sometimes I allow it to roll through. One's not more right or wrong, it's really about the intention of the pose, and as this is more about relaxation, this feels good for me to let that head hang. It can sometimes even feel nice to kind of do a few shoulder shrugs right here to me, but if you'd rather keep your upper body still, that's great. Eventually, though, we can pedal or sway the hips. And maybe you deeply bend the knees. Push your sternum, your chest towards your thighs, and really point your sitting bones up to the sky. And again, a little pedal through the feet can be nice right here. With that intention of lifting your sitting bones up to the sky, you might feel a deeper stretch through the back of the legs, through the back of the hamstrings. No big deal if you don't, though. Now take a pause, take a moment here, hug the arms to the chest, maybe take the ears in line with the arms, take a big inhale, big sigh out. And I want us to rock back down to our hands and our knees. Arrive for a moment, take your cat and cow. And then from here, let's lie on our tummies. And for just a moment, take your elbows wide, press down into your palms, and roll the shoulders back. I just want you to take a moment to see how the tension in our neck feels. If there's a lot of tension in our neck, we might skip this next part and just kind of relax, letting your head kind of soften onto the forehead, just relaxing the body, that's okay. If we feel like we've got plenty of range of motion in our neck and we feel very comfortable, we can do some little cobras. All we're going to do is take our hands by our sides, point your elbows behind you, and hug them towards one another. Even though this is a nice relaxation class, I do want you to actively reach your toes away. Press down into your feet, your pubic bone. Inhale, little cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, little cobra. Exhale, lower down. This time, little cobra pause. Hug the elbows towards one another. Look over your right shoulder. Little stretch across our neck. Take it back, look over your left shoulder. Bring it back, lower down. Slide your hands more in line or kind of right above the shoulders, I suppose. Press down into your feet, and all I want us to do is lift up as high as whatever feels good to you. Now, usually I talk quite a bit about keeping length in our low back to protect it. Sometimes it does feel good to kind of take a bigger kind of arch if that feels good. If it's too much, drop down. But for me right now, pressing my pubic bone into the mat, kind of still lifting up, but just enjoying that deeper stretch I'm getting right now feels oh so delightful and just what I need. I am still hugging my arms towards one another, so my body's still very active. Even though this is about a nice big stretch, we should still think about our muscles engaging. Just like we did earlier, we can take a little twist of our neck, of our head, or even a few shoulder shrugs right here. Maybe press the shoulders down and then drop your chin to chest. Big deep inhale. Big breath out. Slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Use your hands as a pillow, drop your head to your hands, bend the knees, and take a little windshield wiper. Letting the hips move as big or small as whatever feels good for you. Now eventually, release that. We're going to come up to a seated position and bring our feet out in front of us. Take them about as wide as the mat at first. lift tall and straight and bend the knees. And you might actually walk the heels in a little bit more if you want to, but I want you to hug the backs of your thighs, sit tall, sit straight. Almost think of this as kind of like a seated happy baby, because I want us to either open the legs or keep the knees pointing out. That kind of depends on your hips, but I want you to lightly hinge forward. Think about reaching your chest forward, and then again, maybe dropping the chin to chest, or deciding, no, that feels better to keep it lifted. There's not a right or wrong. It's kind of following what feels good for you, but take a big inhale. Forward fold. Roll yourself up. Again, hug the back of your thighs, hinge from the hips at first, kind of push your sternum forward, big breath, and then forward fold. Lean back and lift up. One more time, hinge and pull. Take a big breath. Forward fold. Roll up. Plant the feet into the floor. Reach your hands back, and I want you to take a little windshield wiper of your knees right here. Just a gentle sway. That can be as fast or slow as you want to go. Sometimes for me, it feels good to kind of reach my knees over and then push my hips a little deeper. But eventually we'll come back to a seat, and I want feet together, knees apart. If this is not comfortable for us, it is absolutely fine. You can just do a cross-legged position, a little easy pose. Some people have a lot of range of motion for this, some people not so much. And where you kind of hold on has a lot to do with the length of your arms. So not everyone can hold on to like the feet without hunching over. I can hold on to my calves, my shins, but holding on to my feet is a little too far away from my tiny little arms. So don't you worry about holding on to the right spot. It's wherever you can comfortably hold and still have a nice tall seated position. Wherever we are there, again, almost think about reaching the heart forward. We're not going to take a full hinge, but I'm just pressing my sternum forward so I can open up across my chest, and then it's like a seated cat and cow, dropping back and lifting up, dropping back and lifting up. Once or twice more back and up. Last one back. Now this time, just dive forward into an easy seated forward fold. Head is heavy, neck is soft. Eyes can be opened or closed, and you can sway the head a little. Eventually roll yourself up to a seat, and let's lie on our back. And go ahead, walk your feet a little wider than your hips and allow your knees to knock together. Everyone has a different range of motion. I don't have a lot of internal rotation personally, so it's hard for me to fully knock them together, but even just that kind of intentional rotation inward does help to imprint my spine to feel a little more supported in the low back. But take your hands overhead, press into your feet, press into your low back, lengthen through the spine. Great big inhale, big deep breath out, relax, and elongate the legs. Maybe they're a little wider than the mat. And take a moment and decide, what do you want to do? Is there a part of the body that we haven't moved that's calling to you? A rounded bridge could be open. Maybe you want to pull your knees to your chest, stirring them around. Maybe you want a supine twist. There's no right or wrong, especially when it comes to relaxing the body, to calming ourselves down. It's really all about finding what works for you. It does not have to be a picture-perfect pose or a one-size-fits-all approach. Just follow what works in your body. So for me right now, rocking a little on my hips side to side feels oh so good. Last little thing I'll have us all do is just find your final resting pose. Maybe that's a traditional resting pose with your hands and legs extended. Maybe you want feet together, knees apart in our Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe you want to roll to one side. But spend a moment here and notice if you're trying to control any muscles, any joints. Can you relax the forehead? Feel the eyelids grow heavy. The muscles in the cheeks and the jaw soft. Soften your shoulders, your chest. Relax the palms, the fingers. Feel your hips supported by the floor beneath you. And relax the muscles in the legs, the ankles, the feet and toes. For the last few moments of class, can you invite a feeling of appreciation for your body? Appreciating everything it does for you. Appreciating that you gave it this time, this class, to unwind, to calm down, to relax the body. Can you keep this feeling of appreciation and relaxation for the rest of your evening, your day? Maybe even into when you go to bed tonight. Take a big, long, filling inhale and a sigh out. Of course, there's no hurry or rush, but as you feel ready to move on, wiggle the toes. Wake up the body however you want, maybe giving yourself a hug, a little squeeze. Eventually, rolling to one side, pushing yourself up to a seat. As always, a pat on the back. Again, thanking yourself for doing something so good and just for you. I certainly hope you enjoyed our relaxation yoga class, and I cannot wait to see you again.